Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. When I wake up tomorrow, I want to find a 1-ton gold Buddha, similar to the ones that Yamashita left behind at the end of the Second World War. Right now, a ton of gold is worth about $100 million. And what would I do if I found that? Well, a lot of things would be massively simplified. I teach at a couple of community colleges, and a lot of times the fact that I need that income really pigeonholes how I get my work done, right? I have to pay attention to the politics of the situation, and it also pigeonholes how I can live my lifestyle, right? So if I had $100 million, I'd probably eat out more often. It would buy me more time to get my work done. It's kind of sad that we live in a society where you literally have to pay in order to use your own freaking time that God has supposedly entrusted you with, right? But it would allow me to reclaim a lot of my time. It would also put a lot less pressure on me to meet the right person in my life. So you guys know a big part of my New Year's resolution in 2025 was to go out and look for my future spouse. But I would dial that down considerably if I had a ton of gold. Why? You got to remember why I even want a future spouse to begin with. A lot of times trying to do it alone is very tricky, right? I got a huge wake up call last year when I was battling long COVID. I had long COVID during the summer heat wave, and I had one set of hands to deal with it. And I almost wanted to die dealing with that. That was a big wake up call for why I even returned to the dating scene. I talked extensively about it at the time. I distinctly remember I was living uh, in a faraway suburb because that's all I could afford. 120 degrees, long COVID, and one day I don't even know how I drove to the local grocery store to get some comfort foods, and then security there kind of harassed me because of how sick I was. I never forget that feeling. It felt like I was all alone. I, 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 I remember thinking this is like a halfway house with a work program, right? That's how I felt like that summer felt like for me. Fortunately, I've had some success returning to the dating world. I gotta give that, but at the same time, I wish I didn't have the pressure. I want to date because it's fun to do so, not because I'm worried about what's going to happen the next time I get long COVID, the next time I have to go someday when I have to go in for chemotherapy, the next time I lose my job, the next time I'm overworked and don't have time to cook. Dating's not so fun when you're worried about those events, right? It's much more fun when you can actually enjoy having good company in your life, right? The whole dynamics of dating would shift a lot if tomorrow I wake up and there is this 1-ton gold Buddha waiting for me, right? I might even cancel my trip. I got a couple events coming up that I would almost certainly cancel if all of a sudden, don't let them hear that, but if all of a sudden I came up with a ton of gold, right? So a lot of the dynamics of now, I would still continue to go to my job. By and large, I would still continue to want to make connections. I probably wouldn't want to date anymore in that sense, right? But more make friends, right? By and large, I would still have a lot of things would not change, right? Uh, I uh, I'd still continue my art projects. I love it for although the dynamics of it would change a lot if I didn't have to sell, right? I could actually do stuff that I like instead of stuff that makes the money, right? Although I'd still like to go to art shows, I probably do bigger things that don't sell as easily for fun, right? So you get the idea, right? The trajectory I would take would not change very much, but the execution would. That's what I want to say. And for the better, right? A lot of creative things could happen if I weren't doing it because of economic purposes, right? A lot of creativity gets lost when we're forced to chase that check, right? It really does. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.